When we approached this project 8 years ago, it was really about establishing a symbol that was a strong, powerful symbol that represented University of Portland.
The next logical step for us from a branding perspective was looking at our existing logo system and seeing how we could enhance it. I really feel we've done that in two ways. One, by moving away from gold as a secondary color and going to more a black, silver, anthracite that you see more in this day and age. And secondly, looking at a new secondary mark that does what we were looking to do, which is to tie the institution back to the river.
That idea came from about the location, and the location being on the bluff and the beauty of the river. So the fact that that's part of that P and the river that runs through that P and that creation of that, I think it's over the 8 years has created a very strong, powerful brand image and symbol that is totally unique to University of Portland.
That was done first time around with the creation of the P logo. I think we saw it as an opportunity to refresh and refine that mark, and then also add a secondary mark that I think adds a lot of depth and dimension to the brand.
With the secondary mark, what we heard loud and clear in our brand research interviews that Nike did on the campus was that folks had a very strong affinity for the old anchor and wheel mark. What we did is went and looked back at the history of that mark, looked at the history of River Bar pilots, took a long look at that anchor and wheel, and Nike came up with a mark I think that's very true to our past and will help us in the future as well. I think it's important to sell your history and your heritage. For many UP alums, what they remember is the nautical mark.
We were in meetings with faculty and staff and coaches and student athletes was the fact that they had this mark a number of years ago, and I think it resonated with people on some level. So I think the challenge for our design team was how do we resurrect the pieces of that mark that were special and create a mark that's going to carry us forward.
Anything about who you are that makes you different than everybody else is a good brand identifier. And I think that if we look at those things like location and with the river, and I think even trying to dimensionalize what is a pilot and bring in the whole nautical theme and the river to elevate those kind of principles and that kind of visual identity is really, I think it's a strong historic as well as powerful symbolism that separates you from anybody else in the world.
The one thing we really need to accentuate is that the primary P logo isn't going anywhere. The stacked Portland Pilots logo isn't going anywhere. There's been a lot of good time and energy put into building that brand, and it's been a brand well built over the last 8 to 9 years.
We have some good symbolism about the river and that creation of that symbol of a P. How can we take and really dimensionalize what a pilot is? And I think bringing that back into the riverboat pilot and bringing some of that historical elements and telling it in a unique Portland Pilots way is really what the crux of the project was that we were tasked to do. And we're proud about the results.
Part of the brand refresh and the 8-year extension with Nike through 2022 is showing the partnership between the two entities. And the brand rebuild several years ago and the brand refresh now shows how integrated we are with Nike at a number of levels. There is something to be said for being good neighbors and having that deep relationship. It's something that a lot of our peer schools don't have. The fact that we can have student-athlete events or games on the Nike campus, or having the Nike staff back on our campus for games and events. That's something that's unique to the University of Portland and something we will continue to pursue well into the future.
We treasure the relationship with the University of Portland, and I think that partnership both benefits University of Portland and benefits Nike just in terms of what that relationship does. It's really an expression of our love of our own neighbors and what we can do for our own backyard. It's fantastic.